do some Gauntlet. So last time we were here, we had a really good run. We were 6-0 with this kind of constructed deck. So from what I remember, we have we have a Cron. we have some very, very good cards, and we have some pretty sweet plays that we can make involving inner focus, killing edges that we have. We have a few cards that are really good with them, such as we have a couple of ranged minions. We have the Fox, obviously, is really good with inner focus. Have a Chakri Avatar. I seem to remember winning one game by playing Avatar into inner focus, Saber Spine Seal, and Killing Edge, and just 11ing someone. So let's go through it card by card. This is a recap both for people who, haven't just watched the video or just watched the stream, and also for myself, because I last played this a week ago, and it's helpful to get the whole thing loaded into your head so you can play it properly, rather than just sort of fumbling your way through. So straight away, inner focus. I was really impressed with this card. I remember at one point in the draft I had an option to take a second one, and I didn't. And I wonder if, having played at least the first 6 games of this run, whether I'd have gone for it in retrospect, because I don't remember what I picked over it. It might have been a decent 2-drop. It's a pretty reasonable thing to pick, but this card did a lot of work, and only having one meant I had to ration it very carefully. Having more than one would allow me to use one for tempo early on, and still have one that I could draw into for some burst. Mist Dragon Seal, this card is as good as ever. It's a bit awkward, I guess it gets replaced some amount of the time where you just, your opponent isn't far away, or you don't have a synergy, you don't really want to spend a card on the effect. But MDS does things that no other card can really do, and it's pretty sweet for that. We have some really nice 2-drops. We have a Kaido Assassin, a Chakri Avatar, 2 Healing Mystics, Ether Master, and Shiro. These are all constructed playable. So normally, in my experience so far, I've been playing with 2-drops that are really subpar. Like maybe I'll have a Healing Mystic or a Primus Fist, like one good 2-drop, and then just some trash. Like I'm playing Ephemeral Shroud and Blood Tear Alchemist early and being like, well, sometimes you just got to play something on turn 1. In this case, I'm happy to jam any of these cards on turn 1, and they're also all at least a little bit useful later. They all have some kind of synergy or usefulness that means they're not just dead after the first couple of turns, which is really nice. It's good to have utility on your 2-drops. 2 Saber Spine Seals. This card is definitely not as good since it got nerfed, but it's interaction. It lets you make tempo plays. It's cheap enough that you can still use it to get a value trade and then play something else in the same turn. It's cheaper than a lot of things it will let you kill, which is kind of the important part of removal. We have a Death Strike Seal, which is fine, I guess. I don't think I've cast this yet. Maybe I used it once, but it's just not really come together in the right place. We do have 2 Jade Monks that can in theory combo with it, but I seem to remember the one time I had the opportunity to do that, it wasn't really relevant, and I preferred to spend my mana on something else. But in theory, Death Strike Seal on a Heartseeker is game over against someone who doesn't have an answer to it. And it's pretty spicy on Jade Monk. We have a Lantern Fox, probably the best card in the deck. It's Lantern Fox. If you've played the ladder much at all, you will respect, hate, and fear this card, especially now that Zenrui, which can steal it and often wins the game on the spot against Songhai doing that, has been nerfed to mid-6 mana, meaning Fox is everywhere, largely unchallenged. This card is insane and can easily get 3-for-1s and a lot of tempo, or just a bunch of pressure to the face. Key Beholder, also a really good card. The tempo this makes is easy to underestimate, and obviously 3-2 ranged for only 3 mana, where the typical neutral one is 4 mana, which is so much worse. It's just great. Mogwai, this is our only source of draw, apart from the Lantern Fox, which is mostly a source of winning. So Mogwai is our actual card that draws other cards, and it's fine. It's not a massively impressive card as draw sources go. I think Sojourner and Spelljammer are both generally better, but I think Mogwai is still perfectly playable. I think it's reasonable, and so far it's worked out okay. much as I expected. We have a Golden Mantella. I seem to remember that pick was pretty underwhelming. So this guy's basically filler. But it's fine. The fact that it doesn't go with Inner Focus is a bit awkward. And obviously it dies to a general hit, else it'd be a great card. Cannon of Mechazor, another ranged unit. A lot worse than Keybeholder, but, you know, it's backup. It helps. A lot of times in Gauntlet, sticking a ranged minion will win you the game, and having these ones earlier makes it slightly more likely that we'll be able to snowball Heartseekers later by absorbing our opponent's answers. It is generally a lot worse to cast a ranged minion than it is to pay 1 mana for one that you didn't spend a card on. You know, the cheapness of Reva's Heartseekers plus the fact that they don't cost you cards is why they're so powerful, whereas a 2/2 for 3 is obviously a very tempo negative play. They don't, you know, it doesn't advance your board very much the turn it comes down because it's small, it's easy to remove, and your opponent can often clear it either with an existing minion if they're near you, or with a cheap removal spell. So playing too many of these range minions can be a trap, but cheap range minions are still quite strong because, you know, when you do stick them, you often just win the game on the back of that. We have a Crimson Oculus. This card is pretty similar to ranged minions in that if it sticks around, you'll probably win off of it, unless it gets answered. In my limited experience playing with this card before, it is surprisingly powerful because, you know, if your opponent wants to play around it, they have to stop playing minions, which obviously if they do that, they'll lose anyway. Double Killing Edge. This is one of the nicest features of this deck. It's really good with ranged minions. It's really good when you need bursts of damage. Four Winds Mega, we don't have that many spells, but this guy's still a solid body. The 4/4 for 4. Gains a little bit of life, that's relevant. You know, extra life gain is always really helpful in this game because Duelyst is quite well balanced around dealing 25 damage. Like, especially on the ladder, you'll find decks that will deal 25 damage and then run out of gas. There's also generals like Fae, which will get you quite low with their initial aggressive burst and then just kill you with the Bloodborne spell. But if you can heal, you buy yourself multiple turns in both of those scenarios. So just having a little bit of healing in the deck is actually pretty helpful because that sort of thing happens in Gauntlet as well sometimes. Mindwarper, this card has so far missed every time I've played her, which is underwhelming. I've had it be great before, but so far she's not impressed me. Must be a lot worse in Gauntlet than in Constructed. Sunsteel Defender, now that's a 4/3 for 4. This guy's awesome. Nasher, also a very good card. I haven't played it very much with this deck. Like, you know, he's come up, but I haven't needed him necessarily in the board state. Someone pointed out on Reddit that I could have used Nasher for a nice little board clear, triggering it with my opponent's Nasher in one of the games from the previous stream, which I missed at the time. But beyond that, I haven't really seen good opportunities to make use of him. That said, the card is really powerful, and we have, you know, surprisingly so, especially for a common. And we have an Inner Focus for explosive burst, so that's kind of nice. Silhouette Tracer, I picked this kind of early, mostly for running away. I don't think I've used it yet, but running away and playing ranged minions seems like it could be quite strong. Onyx Jaguar, I picked experimentally. I remember there was a very close pick that I spent quite a while on between the Jaguar, a Spiral Technique, and a Grail Master. Having now played with Onyx Jaguar in my deck, I think I only cast it once, but that game was really close, and without the Jaguar, I don't think I'd have won it. Like, that Jaguar specific effect allowed me to clear some obelisks, essentially, a turn earlier than I might have otherwise. And, you know, obviously that's a huge deal. It kept my Shiro alive for an extra turn, so I got to hit another obelisk as well. Like, the Jaguar, just giving a couple of my minions +1/+1 at the right moment was really instrumental in that particular game. So far, tentative thumbs up. I don't know if I'd pick it over Grail Master again, because Grail Master is bananas, but in theory, card is good. Kron, everyone knows Kron is good. Even though he's now only toughness 4, he's still really powerful. Both times I played him, he was fine. Made some board presence. My opponent had a neat answer to him. That's fine though, because he demands that answer, and your opponent's going to spend their turn 4 or whatever clearing your Chron instead of doing stuff. And obviously if you happen to roll a force field minion, you know, that's a really sticky, annoying swing to play against. And then at the top we have a Silverbeak, which is just a pile of stats. I like this card. It's surprisingly good. And a Dust Whaler. This card, secret MVP of this deck. It's obviously not the best card because I have a Lantern Fox, but this card is really good. I've been very impressed with it so far. I love the fact that you can basically play it wherever you want and deal 3 damage to often multiple things. You know, you'll kill something and hit them in the face, and maybe get something else as well. And then because it has flying, you can contest. You know, it's really good against Reva, you know, in the mirror, because you can kill a ranged minion with it, and then next turn fly over and kill something else. You can contest the next Heartseeker or the next Keyboard Holder or whatever. So I really like it based on that. I think its flexibility makes it a lot more worth its mana cost than one might expect, just because it can threaten to kill things for multiple turns. And I think that's a really strong effect. So, having refreshed my memory, let's see if we can take this to the 7-0. Or at least 7 wins. 7-0 is maybe far-fetched, but we'll see. It's only one more win to do that. Going second against Magma at 6-0. Let's see a Keyboard Holder. Well, we got a Keyboard Holder. And we got an Inner Focus. So, I mean, this is a very likely turn 1. Unless my opponent plays a young Silithar, we can play the Beholder and zap their first play. It does use up our Inner Focus, but then, you know, we cleared their first play, so that's great. I'm sort of tempted to keep this entire hand, because if the opponent doesn't do anything, I'd be tempted to play this instead, almost. No, that's probably a silly idea. Play this and then move up, because it's not possible to take the middle mana tile with a Saberspine Tiger and then kill the Keyboard Holder with it. So we'd probably still have access to that tile. I want to keep the Nasher because I have this. I think I'll replace the Jade Monk because I'm pretty much definitely playing this turn 1. Kind of tempted to keep the Killing Edge, just on the off chance this survives and then we win. Let's roll with it. Sure, Healing Mystic's fine. So, don't be Silithar. Flameblood Warlock. Feels like a waste to use a Keyboard Holder on a Flameblood Warlock, doesn't it? Let's replace this. Golden Mantella. Well, that card's bad, so let's not do that. Right. We can even play the Keyboard Holder in the middle and then run it over here. That still protects it from a lot of plays. Like, our opponent can go minion and then more, which will kill it. But beyond that, it's... Oh no, they can't, because we'll have taken the mana tile, so they'll have to have a 1-drop. That seems really strong, actually. Let's go for that. So I didn't really need to use the Inner Focus there. Maybe I shouldn't have actually, because I can clear the 5-1, clear the 3-1 with something else next turn, like my face. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that, should I? But it does let me. I think denying the mana tile was useful enough, like, because my opponent can't really easily recoup that tempo. Oh wow, they can't even do anything. That's great. What are we playing? Could just play the Nasher. Run this away, go face. I think that's... I mean, maybe encouraging my opponent to hit this in the face. Actually, the Jade Monk gets worse because my opponent can Bloodborne spell, so this thing doesn't do a lot. So let's play the Mantella instead of that if we're playing that. Actually, that also makes the Nasher really bad, right? So I guess our play is... drop this. Is that any good? That is good. Let's just surround him. And get aggro. We're not too concerned with card card advantage here. We're mostly just going for tempo now. Like, next turn, we can teleport this any way we want if it's still alive and attack something for 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So in theory, we have lethal next turn. Be a turn 3 killing Gauntlet. Not bad. So if our opponent doesn't heal, remove anything, or play a provoke, we will win. That's a reasonably tall order, but they didn't do anything last turn, so the chances of them being able to kill this are quite low. I think they would need Thumping Wave, because Natural Selection doesn't do it. Yeah, they'd need Thumping Wave, which at least, you know, it killed something, dealt 3 to the face, and traded with a Thumping Wave. That's kind of fine. And then we still get the 3/3 Battle Pet. It's going to deal a little extra damage. Even if this does die, we can still Killing Edge up this, which is not bad. And we're also looking at being able to go 4 Winds, Arcane Heart for a little extra damage. That's not bad. Okay, so opponent's going for basically the 50-50 on Dex. Come on, come on, come on, go face, go face! Ah, you idiot. Oh, that's weird, it went the 2 different ways. That's very strange. Can we win this turn? So that is 8, 9, 10. We've used the Inner Focus. Possibly foolishly. What do we have in the deck? We have Saberspine Seal. Let's replace this Nasher. That is not Saberspine Seal. Okay. Let's run away. Kill the Crimson Oculus. Lay down a 4 Winds and an Arcane Heart. We do also have the ability to take a mana tile. I think let's put this over here. This over, sequencing. Wow, I almost threw away an unlosable game there. That would have been really bad. I don't think I'm going to bother Mist Dragon Sealing. I really don't like the play of making a Heartseeker and then immediately Mist Dragon Sealing it. Like, sometimes that works out. Other times you just waste your Mist Dragon Seal, and we don't really need to do it. Especially as it means the MDS can be used for extra damage. Like, if my opponent runs away, plays something between us, and kills this, say with a Scorn or a Natural Selection, we have lethal via Mist Dragon Seal on one of these. I guess that would still be the case, because we get the extra damage off this, wouldn't we? Maybe it doesn't matter so much. But in other situations, it might. We also have Mist Dragon Seal, Saberspine Seal on this for lethal. Whoa! That doesn't do anything, does it? Oh, until the end of your opponent's turn. So, Mist Dragon Seal, Saberspine Seal, that's +4. We still win, right? No, we don't. Yeah, we do have. We have exact mana. Let's just make sure that's... Oh, of course it's lethal. This is really funny. I've never killed someone with a Magma before. That's hilarious. I kill someone with a Magma to go 7-0. Yes. That's so good.